they're all getting ready to go south, and so am I. Final trip in 2023. What an interesting year it has been. Last year I was doing Europe. This year I'm doing the Midwest, and two major bucket list parks that I haven't been to. Two other parks that I haven't been to that aren't bucket list but have bucket list rides, and also a couple of favorites along the way, and numerous mountain coasters. There's a lot to discover. So these guys are going to join me. We're going to go south into the heart of America here for the final road trip in America in 2023. Unfortunately might be one of the last times that I cross the Ambassador Bridge, as I'm not sure the next time I'll be going across this border. I do enjoy going across the border from Windsor to Detroit. It is one of my favorite places to cross. This whole area will change substantially in the very near future. Let's see about actually getting across with better luck than my last trip. We'll see you on the other side. See in the distance the soon to open, well, maybe in 2 years' time, Gordie Howe Bridge. Never a better name, I think, for a bridge between two countries than that of Gordie Howe. If you don't know who Gordie Howe is, well, I definitely recommend a Wikipedia search. Underappreciated city of Detroit as well. Looks like they're already starting the structural decommissioning of this bridge. America once again for one more time in 2023. Now to explain to customs once again that I'm traveling alone, and that yes, I am a theme park fan. Success! Farewell, Ambassador Bridge. 10-4, 10-4, as the customs agent said to me, giving me clearance to come into the country. Farewell, Baymont. I've stayed at this hotel twice in Mason now, and it actually is pretty decent. I don't know if you can see it, unfortunately, through the roof, through the back. There's not much to see, but it is next to my favorite Waffle House, and I can't go and visit this Waffle House today. I'm gutted, mainly because I just can't stomach the grease today. But more importantly, oh, and the staff look like they're ready. Ah, I love you, Waffle House. It's not fair, but I gotta hit the road. I'm off to St. Louis, and I'm off to Six Flags St. Louis. 6-hour drive from here, and it's 8 a.m. So to give you a little bit of insight into what it takes in order to get these parks in, well, yeah, I had to get up at the crack of dawn here, get my stuff ready, get out. It's not often that I actually leave a hotel before the majority of people are even awake, but this is one of those situations. Other than the lunchroom being rammed or breakfast room being as rammed as it normally was, because I think the breakfast just went out. Just for an insight, as you can see it in the bay, this is actually where the Forber Beach water park used to be, which I never also unfortunately got to visit. And then just down there is the famous Super 8 that I usually stay at when I'm here, but fortunately the rates were attractive enough to dictate that I wasn't going to do that today. Had a very rather successful day at Kings Island. Had a little trouble getting here as per usual. It's on I-71, not I-75, just so you know. Although it didn't take too long to get to I-71 from 75 once you realize that I've never seen any of these things while rolling into Cincinnati before, because I've never taken that route from Dayton to Cincinnati. All be told, Kings Island is done for yet another year. Definitely check out, well, I might be saying that a little too fast, because I think we might be back for Winterfest this year for the first time. I would certainly love to see what that event is all about, and maybe they'll have the Beast running this time, as they didn't have it last night, unfortunately. It's a beautiful shot, Kings Island. Off in the distance. I wanted to take this opportunity as well to sort of cover a couple of things that I do in order to, you know, save money and time. Time is really the biggest thing and the biggest challenge when it comes to these trips, because I don't, as you can see, have much time in between to do much else other than get up, get my stuff, and hit the road. That's just how it's been arranged. Even on the travel day that I have, which is on Tuesday coming, I still have a pretty hectic agenda. So yeah, everything is really kind of like you fit in by your tooth and nail, or by a hair of a thread, and whatever those terms are. But you thinly fit in all of these things based on the itinerary, because time is really not available in the sense that, you know, we don't go to parks for like 2 to 3 days at a time. You go to a park for like half a day generally before you're in and out doing travel. So especially in this one, but I'm getting the majority of my travel done in these first 2 days compared to the rest of the trip. So there is a big hunk at the end, which is going to be crazy, but we'll see how we make out there. Another tip is to bring a thermos as well. Bring a thermos, because if you bring a thermos, then you're going to be able to fill up on hotel coffee, delicious as it is. But at least it saves you a trip to, say, a coffee shop in the morning, unless you desperately have to have a good coffee, which I desperately need too. But we'll save that for later. This will at least get us on the road. And then, of course, you can grab your wares. I have a cooler in the back as well. I have a cooler in the back, which means that I'm able to stuff more affordable grocery items and such in the cooler in the back, and then get on the road as well. So it really is kind of beneficial. It gets you up and at 'em. Slightly devastated as I just left Mason / Kings Island, and I thought I had a beautiful shot leaving the park in the morning, but I don't think I got it. But I did want to recap some of the stuff that I did discuss in that brief little intro to the second day of our trip. Yeah, I do love Cincinnati's look. I really hope that I get to visit it one time, especially this Baldwin old school hotel, I believe it is now. It's like it used to be a factory of some sort. We're not going downtown. We had to hit the road early, 8 in the morning, because we're off to St. Louis. And by doing so, that means that, yeah, it's a 6-hour drive from Kings Island. And so one of the tips is time management. You really got to get on the road and make sure you don't dawdle around. So it means I wasn't able to go to my favorite Waffle House because of that. It doesn't leave time to really check out certain cities, but welcome to Kentucky. But we're off to St. Louis. I think Nick Lachey lives there. I'm pretty sure he does. Gonna go back in time. Gonna go back in time. Okay, nobody knows what that song is. Well, you probably do, because it's from Back to the Future, at least. But the point is, I didn't realize, and I should have, that once you cross state lines, I think in Missouri, we go back in time, and it's going to be 1 o'clock, which means I get an extra hour at the park, which is bonus. That's 11 hours, so I'm definitely making good time.
I don't want to say that 5 hours and 21 minutes away from my destination, but it looks like that is a good thing, as opposed to yesterday where there was a lot of delays. So we're on our way. St. Louis, I've never been through this part of the country, so I'm looking forward to it. So we might get a little bit of coverage along the way. I might get some things out of my cooler in the back. I'm gonna drink my coffee from the hotel. I probably am gonna stop and get coffee and contradict my tip, because unfortunately the coffee from that particular Baymont, while I like the hotel, yeah, the coffee, it didn't taste, it didn't even smell like coffee. It smelled like something from a haunt. All right, we'll see you soon. Back in Louisville. Last time I was here, Kentucky Kingdom.
In 7.3 kilometers.
KFC Yum Center. Yum, 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 yum. Last time we were here, we went across this bridge. This time we're going under it. Riverboats. I definitely would like to check out Louisville at some point before I give up drinking. Also, I ended up getting a McDonald's coffee because sometimes those hotel coffees are just not acceptable, and that I feel like I'm actually should have this car rezoned as a hazmat transportation vehicle because of the coffee that's in it right now. One thing I have enjoyed about this trip, or at least my trips in the States this year, is that I've managed to visit some states that I've never visited before. And we're about to hit the first one on this trip. A place I've wanted to visit for probably 30 odd years now, and now finally getting the chance. I wanted to go visit the Arch. I don't have time. But given my initial thoughts on the infrastructure here, it reminds me of Montreal. Seems like there's not much other than an arch. Missouri. I feel like this is a more than appropriate impression of what I've been treated to visually in this state. Oh well, at least they have cannabis superstores. Into the heart of Midwest country here in the heart of America. We'll continue on. Let's get to Kansas City. I cannot tell you how happy I am that this drive is only 188 miles. 188 miles! Well, yeah, it's been 2 days of pretty intensive 7 to 8 hour drives, like spending half the day driving before hitting a park, so I should feel pretty refreshed at Worlds of Fun because of that. At least that's the hope. We'll see if, I'm basing this on no traffic, but I've been pretty lucky there too, and I feel really nervous saying that. But yeah, despite the fact that this is a short drive, I still, of course, have to pick up some gas and do a pit stop along the way. My booty hole brown. Will Sexy Red please be in one of my vlogs? I would love that. A massive accident on the highway just ahead now, which has completely rendered this highway closed off. And the only thing that's really upsetting about it is the fact that I was 15 minutes away from my destination. And I think that this might easily eat away an hour into my day now. Never seen this before. People are now escaping and saying fuck it and just going up the off-ramp. This is how they roll in Kansas City. They just take the on-ramp off. I don't understand how you're gonna get onto traffic up there, or like onto the road when it's not built, but everyone's just saying screw it and going for it. But I feel like we're on the cusp of them clearing out ahead, because yeah, it seems like these guys are like, decisions, do I go left or right? We're about to leave Branson after rolling out 4 vlogs in a little over 2.5 hours, which is definitely a record. Actually, I guess it was 4 hours. But as you can see, my next destination is 10 hours away, which is the longest drive I've performed since the very first one I did for this channel 5 years ago. This is going to be an adventure for sure. 1,000 kilometers. And I didn't even factor in the time change, which unfortunately means it's going to be even later when we get there. If you're looking for evidence of how we are in a different place, look at that little puppy on the back of this truck, just sitting there without a tailgate. Absolute madness. Like literally, where I'm from, people on the road would probably try to run this guy off the road for something like that. But he's eating away, seems to be chilling, seems to be having a good time. Craziness. Oh, another Hollywood Wax Museum. Oh, shoot. I did the one in Branson. Only today. We have arrived in Pigeon Forge. Incredibly, just before 2 o'clock in the morning, as I didn't factor in the time change. I'm very glad, very happy to be here. 2 days? What a journey. Actually, it wasn't that bad. We are in beautiful West Virginia, a state that I've had nothing but pleasant experiences in on the last day of our journey here. The largest that I've ever performed for the channel, 4,600 kilometers over only 8 days. I've been on bigger, longer journeys, but not ones where I've traveled so far within it. And it's a bittersweet moment. It's the end of my season, essentially, for that kind of stuff. Sometimes you find on road trips, at times when you're just scrolling the radio, you find these magical radio stations that just cannot play, at least for your own preference, a bad tune. It's part of the fun of road trips sometimes, when you just turn off the data and let it flow the way that it used to in the old days. I'm certainly still using the GPS though. Final stretch to Kennywood, and my preferred route, the back road. It's actually much more interesting visually, even though those visuals are of an industrial, I don't know what to call it without using a pejorative. Last park of the trip.